In this recap, Invincible, the show opens in the White House with the Mauler twins attacking the place with the intent to kill the president. The Guardians of the Globe, with the help of Omni-Man, manage to stop the attacks. Meanwhile, Mark, who's in high school, still waits for his Viltrumite powers to manifest. Mark discovers his powers emerge while at work as he was taking out the trash, accidentally throwing it to space. The next morning, he goes into training with his dad, but he gets caught off guard as Nolan punches him too hard in an attempt to stress the importance of being a hero. To distress himself, Mark stops a robbery whilst donning his homemade suit, which Nolan witnesses. During their serious talk, Mark states that he just wants to be a hero like his dad. As a making-up gift, Nolan takes Mark to Art Rosenbaum, a superhero suit maker, to make him a proper suit. Mark goes back to meet Art and decides to call himself Invincible. He goes out for a test run with his new suit but discovers an attack nearby. Mark apprehends Kilkennan and stops the attack. Later, the Guardians of the Globe are alerted and meet at their headquarters. Omni-Man reveals himself and engages in a bloody fight with the Guardians. Omni-Man kills all the Guardians before falling unconscious. Following Omni-Man's attack, the Global Defense Agency finds the Guardians dead and Omni-Man unconscious, not knowing the real situation. Mark and Debbie were informed of Nolan's comatose state by director Cecil Stedman, who also informs them of the Guardians' death. The alien group called the Flaxons attack the city and Invincible helps the teen team stop their attack. The Flaxons retreat due to time dilation difference which caused them to age rapidly. Mark recognizes Adam Eve as Eve Wilkins, his classmate from high school, and befriends her. Mark shares his identity with her and she invites him to meet the other members of the teen team after school. The Global Defense Agency continues their investigation of the Guardian's death and encounters Damien Darkblood, a demon detective doing his own investigation. Mark receives a phone call that the Flaxons attack again. They almost succeed until Omni-Man shows up and forces the Flaxon army back to their planet. Omni-Man destroys their home planet as a payback. In the Guardians' private funeral, Damien questions Nolan with his suspicions. Meanwhile, Cecil asks Robot to work for the GDA and lead a new Guardians of the Globe team. Mark finally calls Amber and invites her for a study date. In Pentagon, Robot holds a tryout to find new members for the Guardians of the Globe. Robot recruits Black Samson, Shrinking Ray, Duplicate, Monster Girl, Rex Splode, and Adam Eve. Eve quits the team after previously discovering that Rex cheated on her with Duplicate. The Mauler twins escape prison through the help of a benefactor, who was revealed to be Robot, but one of them sacrifices the other. Damien pays a visit to Debbie for his investigation and feeds her his suspicions about Nolan. Nolan confronts Damien and warns him to stay away from his family, but Damien tells him that Debbie is already suspicious of him. In the GDA, Cecil banishes Damien in order to stop him from investigating the case until he figures out why Nolan killed the Guardians. However, Damien was able to hide his notebook in Debbie's closet. Titan asks Invincible for help on taking down Machine Head, and also explains his situation to him. Invincible agrees to help Titan despite his father not agreeing to him. Titan and Invincible storm Machine Head's office, and a fight starts between them and Machine Head's people. The Guardians arrive to help the fight, but Battle Beast successfully incapacitates Invincible, Monster Girl, and Black Samson. Debbie finds the notebook that Damien left and she regains her suspicions against Nolan. Mark regains consciousness in the hospital, but Black Samson and Monster Girl remain unconscious. Robot leads the surgery for Monster Girl after having studied her physiology before. Mark reconciles with Amber after blowing her off in the soup kitchen. The two accompany William to Upstate University to meet with William's crush, Rick Sheridan. Eve visits Mark and tells him about her plans of helping people on her own after getting inspired by Amber's humanitarian advocacy. In the university, a cyborg experiment attacks, which led Mark to leave Amber and the others and fight as Invincible. William recognizes Mark as Invincible, and Amber was upset that Mark left and breaks up with him. Rick gets kidnapped by Daw. Sinclair, the mad scientist behind the cyborg experiments. Cecil and the GDA arrest Sinclair, but takes interest in his technology. Debbie brings Nolan's costume to Art Rosenbaum and examines it, which confirms her suspicions that Nolan was behind the Guardian's death. Debbie and Art agree to keep quiet about the situation, but she confronts Nolan after a drunken rage. Concurrently, the Mauler successfully clones himself with the aid of Robot. Debbie continues to confront Nolan regarding the truth, but Nolan only asks her to trust her. Debbie gets summoned to the GDA, where she learns that Cecil already knows the truth about Nolan. Robot manipulates the Maulers to add the neural link upgrade to the clone he was building, his ruddy clone, which looks like a younger version of Rex, as Robot uses Rex's DNA. After successfully linking their minds, Robot pays and betrays the Maulers. He summons the rest of the Guardians and explains himself himself before revealing the truth about Omni-Man and the former Guardian's death. Mark tells Amber his identity as Invincible, only for Amber to tell him that she already figured it out but was still upset that he didn't trust her. Back at the house, Omni-Man seeks Debbie and Mark, only to find GDA soldiers and Donald, Cecil's assistant, spying on him and his family. Cecil and Debbie witness Omni-Man kill the GDA soldiers and Donald. Omni-Man fights them, which Mark and Eve intercept. Cecil orders Eve to leave Mark and meet with the Guardians. The Maulers revive Immortal with the help of Robot. Filled with rage, Immortal flies off to fight Omni-Man to avenge his teammates. In a live televised footage, the news catches Omni-Man kill Immortal for everyone to see. Omni-Man finally asks his son for a talk. Nolan explains to Mark his Viltrumite origins and reveals that he infiltrated Earth for the Viltrumites to conquer Earth. Nolan convinces Mark to join him conquer Earth, but fails. The two fights as Omni-Man and Invincible, but Omni-Man easily overpowers Invincible, destroying Chicago in the process. Once Nolan realizes his love for Mark, he proceeds to fly off to Space Guilty, leaving an injured Mark alone. Cecil helps Debbie and Mark falsify Nolan's public death. Mark and Amber rekindle their relationship after the former's recovery. Eve informs Amber and William of her superhero identity. Cecil informs Mark of an object flying towards Earth's atmosphere, which turns out to be Alan the alien. Invincible updates Alan with the current events, and Alan convinces Mark that he can be of advantage for the Coalition to stop the Viltrumites. Season 2 opens with a bang, literally. The first 5 minutes of Invincible Season 2 opens with the shocking revelation that Mark Grayson has joined the Viltrum Empire and is working with his father to conquer Earth. The duo brutally murders Immortal, showcasing a frightening display of teamwork and setting an immediate tone of intense violence, until these disturbing events are revealed to be taking place in another dimension. Establishing a multiverse raises the stakes immediately, unlocking the potential for different versions of the same character to interact. We're quickly pulled back to reality and reintroduced to the familiar versions of the beloved characters from Season 1. Roughly 1 month has passed since the battle between Invincible and Omni-Man, and Mark is struggling to reconcile his father's actions. Flash forward to 2 more familiar faces. The Mauler twins are imprisoned, that is until ominous green portals appear in their cell and transport them to safety. They have Angstrom Levy to thank for their newfound freedom, a mystery figure who boasts the ability to travel between dimensions. Angstrom shares with the Mauler twins that their home dimension is one of the few where Invincible and Omni-Man fought one another. The father-son duo has taken over the world in most other universes. Angstrom, a pacifist, is uninterested in interfering with an Earth-Viltrum war and instead enlists the help of the Mauler twins to build a device that will imbue him with the knowledge of all his multiversal counterparts. The new Guardians of the Globe team, led by Cecil Stedman. He adds new team member Bulletproof, appoints Immortal as the new team leader. The first episode peaks when the Mauler twins complete work on the device that will help Angstrom unlock infinite knowledge, but things don't go according to plan. Invincible steps in to save the day and destroys the device, a feat that nearly costs him his life. Several versions of the Mauler twins are seconds away from beating him to death, and when Angstrom removes his helmet to try to help Mark, he destroys the device, the building, and seemingly everyone inside. In the aftermath of the massive detonation, 1 Mauler twin and 1 version of Angstrom survived, both severely marred. Angstrom's chance at a peaceful life where he's free to cure all universes of any afflictions is gone, and he has only one plan for revenge: kill Invincible by any means necessary. Finally, we see Mark's friends Amber, Eve, and William donning caps and gowns at one of the most significant events in their life, thus far high school graduation. As the episode deviates from the new graduates, it's quickly revealed that Mars native Ruse, aka Shape Smith, is hiding out at the United States Space Agency, a post he is likely not long for. Mark flies off to investigate a Darkwing sighting, which immediately causes a stir. Invincible quickly discovers his sidekick Nightboy has taken up the mantle. He manages to subdue and capture the new and improved Darkwing, but not before tapping into his more sinister side. Things are beginning to click for Debbie, who is shocked to see Donald alive after her former husband Nolan ripped his spine out. She reaches her breaking point, but fortunately Mark is there to comfort his mother, just as she's been there for him so many times. In the other universe, we see a shocking reveal that a version of Mark has been imprisoned by Angstrom Levy. 2 female versions of Cecil and Donald appear, ready to make Invincible pay for all the damage he's done to their world. It's revealed that Alan the alien was created by the Unopians in collaboration with a coalition of planets in hopes of standing against Viltrum. This plan proved unsuccessful when Alan went head-to-head with a Viltrumite and lost, but the Coalition realized he still had something to offer. Alan set off in hopes of finding allies to stand against Viltrum, and his search led him directly to Earth and its protector, Invincible. While the leader of the Coalition, a Viltrumite named Thetis, is convinced Mark can be a useful ally, the rest of the Coalition is not so quick to trust a half-Viltrumite. Alan, the alien, is ambushed by 3 Viltrumites who demand information on both Mark and Omni-Man. When his answers prove less than satisfactory, the 3 Viltrumites do what they were trained to do and brutally murder Alan while his girlfriend Telia is forced to stand by and watch. Back at Coalition headquarters, Alan is revealed to be alive, but in grave condition. Telia has been at his side since he sustained his injuries to ensure he's never alone, and now Thetis stops by to visit his favorite soldier. He convinces Telia that it's okay to step away for a moment, that he can watch after Alan. As soon as she leaves the room, Thetis pulls the plug on Alan's life support and watches him die. A rogue Thraxan appears to explain his dilemma. Invincible has to leave Earth and make the 6-day journey to Thrax, where he can save the Thraxans from dangerous meteor showers. Cecil strongly objects, and although Mark follows in his father's footsteps by refusing to follow Cecil's orders, he knows in his heart he's doing the right thing. This is how heroes are born. When Mark arrives at the planet Thraxa, he quickly learns he's been deceived. There is no imminent meteor shower threatening to kill the innocent people he agreed to save. They reach the throne to find the monarch is no Thraxan, but Mark's father, Omni-Man. We finally learn where Omni-Man went after departing Earth in the Season 1 finale. He didn't return to Viltrum. He roamed the galaxy reconciling his actions without any discernible purpose until he wandered upon a group of stray Thraxans that required his help. After rescuing them from certain deaths, they invited him back to their home planet to rule as a benevolent leader, not a malicious conqueror. He reveals to Mark that he's married a Thraxa woman and fathered another son. Nolan knows the Viltrumites will never accept his half-Viltrumite, half-Thraxan child, and plan to kill him and wipe out the entire planet when they arrive. He calls on Mark for help defending his newly discovered brother and fighting the Viltrum Empire when they inevitably arrive. Mark makes it clear he has no intentions of helping his father. Before Mark even has time to consider, meteorites rain from the sky, signaling there is no time for training or decision-making. In a last-ditch effort, Nolan asks Mark to take his son to safety. Mark agrees, but their security after arriving at the cave is short-lived. Lucan has tracked them down and plans to kill Mark and his brother, but fortunately Nolan flies in to save his wife and both of his sons at the last moment. Omni-Man and Lucan get into a heavyweight boxing match that ends with Nolan slicing open his former Viltrumite comrade and his guts spewing out on the floor. The father-son duo flies back to the main city and find nothing but utter destruction. Thula and General Craig have laid waste to the city and slaughtered everyone inside. Nolan and Mark defeat the murderous pair, but not before Thula severely wounds Mark. After the battle concludes, Nolan goes over to check on his son, but it turns out Lucan isn't dead. He flies in and appears to break Nolan's spine, gloating in front of his son. The Viltrumites win the day, taking Nolan back to their planet for execution and sending Mark back to Earth with an ultimatum: kill a few to prepare for Viltrumite rule, or they will kill millions upon their arrival. To tie things up back on Earth, we check in with the Mauler twins and Donald. The newest clone has poisoned the mangled original and plans to produce many more clones, not just one. Donald finds the old security files and stumbles across some disturbing footage. After watching his death, everything he thought he knew about himself is now void, and the audience is left wondering how Cecil managed to find another perfect copy of Donald to fill the original's place. Well, that's all for this recap. Hope you enjoy Season 2 Part 2. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below your theories or predictions for the upcoming episodes. Thanks for watching Flick and TV.